Today, you will take a test that will help you discover who you truly are. The future belongs to those who know where they belong.
What, you get pushed?
No. Today we're at Air Studios, the legendary Air Studios, to record for parts of Divergent, which is the film we're all here for. I got involved in Divergent because the makers of the film and Junkie, who is producing all the music, wanted me to either provide some songs or just work with Junkie and provide my vocals and my input on the film. And so I went to LA to watch a screening of it, and I loved it.
Your results were inconclusive.
We're supposed to trust the test.
Didn't work on you. They call it Divergent.
I've always wanted to go towards making film soundtracks, and whether it be just my voice or, you know, being involved in the actual production.
Well, I've been primarily working with Ellie on this, and she has been an intricate part of the score, which I think is great and also unique. There's a lot of really fantastic music in this film from other artists, but it's unique to have an artist involved like that. Not just to license a couple of tracks, but to get an artist in and share thoughts about how to tackle like certain problems and make sure that she's well positioned all over the score.
The first time that we worked together, we kind of just sat and talked about music and talked about what we both liked and what we both didn't like.
We agreed straight away that we were not going to record music, but just get to know each other and play each other music that influenced us. And it was a fantastic hang.
I like to have that connection with people that I work with in the studio. I think it's really important. It's such an intimate thing when I'm making music, so I want the person that I'm working with to know enough about me to get me and get what kind of music I'm making. We both are very into electronic music, but we're both also into classical music. I think we agreed on a lot of stuff about how music should be made and that it's, you know, an experimental kind of process and it should always be fun.
At the end of it, it was like, okay, the next time that we see each other, we'll get to business. Can we do one more take with the click, but then play it all the way through the end? The first problem that we needed to tackle was how to define the main character, Beatrice, and later she becomes Trish in the film. What we needed to achieve is to get into her head as an audience and feel whatever she's feeling. What really helps is how we recorded her vocal. We had some sessions here yesterday.
It was actually nice to be in a big open room, and it felt quite special because usually it's in a dark room in a little vocal booth. I got to experiment quite a lot and I got to improvise, and sometimes I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth. I think that kind of gave me an intensity that I wanted.
It helps creating that inner voice of our main character that speaks to the audience.
When I was recording the vocals in the room downstairs, I could see the screen in front of me, so I could see what was happening in the film. Having that in front of you definitely helped with sort of trying to get the emotion across. And you really feel it, you know, there's one really sad scene where someone dies and you sort of, for a second, you do get a little bit lost in it and you start to feel what they're feeling.
Mom! Mom! No! Mom! Mom!
The actors in Divergent, everyone's done such an amazing job. It's really, really epic. So I think that helped, seeing it in front of me.
Ellie Goulding is a great singer and has a great voice that in a way gets you right into Triss's head and to make it from her point of view, as well as just to sort of drive it forward in an incredibly energetic way.
Some of the main pieces in the score she responded to, and also the sounds that I've picked for this film is very much aligned with sounds that she likes in her songs. Some of the main defining moments, like earlier on in the film, where it's just a very simple a 4-bar pop progression of chords, she responded to because that's what she does too. So I think that's one of the reasons why on a musical level it worked.
I don't fit in here. I'm just different.
We really need to feel for the main character. So how the movie starts and how the music develops over the first 25 minutes is really trying to crawl into her skin, and the music needed to help to make that happen.
Choose.
Why? What will I do with them?
Choose.
Eventually, when people see the film, they will notice that she's completely on her own, and throughout the film, she finds somebody to team up with. But until that moment, her audience is actually her only friend. So I needed to create music that the audience becomes her friend instead of sitting back and watching whatever takes place on the screen.
What those guys have been great at doing is getting into Triss's head and making the music, and thus the movie, feel very personal, so you feel like her dilemma and what's at stake for her in this world and in this story.
It has a lot of minimal patterns that help to build a sense of conspiracy. And for me, musical examples come from 50s, 60s, 70s, where minimal classical music came up.
There are liars here. There are people who know how to manipulate you. You need to understand that.
Beatrice. I think you should go.
Guitars are very important in this score. It goes back to early U2, but also Arcade Fire. There are really strong rhythms in this score too, but that's my main instrument. I used to be a drummer, so anything with a good rhythm, it will do.
As a kid, I was obsessed with film soundtracks. Like, the thing that I would always remember of any film that I saw was the soundtrack. So I think part of me, from a youngster, I really wanted to get involved in making music for films. And so did he. And he used to DJ, and he used to make a lot of electronic music. And I think it's really cool that he's made that kind of jump to scoring film soundtrack. I think it's really cool. I'm really looking forward to hearing it. Obviously, it's a new thing for me. I'm not like as involved in it as I would be, for example, like making my own record. So I think it's going to be a bit more of a surprise when I finally hear it. And I'm just really excited to see how it ends up. Especially, you know, the bits of my voice. I definitely like challenged myself and sang in a way I've never sung before. So it'll be interesting to see what people think of my voice. I don't think people will recognize parts of it as my voice. So I think it'll be interesting to see what people think.